Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, wrestling fans and sports entertainment fans, welcome to the No Shave Man Cave. I'm Ellie Jair, and today is an episode that when Jay Tilley and I started this show just over a year ago, and thank you so much for all of our followers here at the No Shave Man Cave, where you get all your wrestling information, our sort of jovial insights and funny military connections to wrestling, and why Jay Tilley and I became fans of professional wrestling. And even as adults, we understand that there is a script and there's stories, there's behind the scenes, and we see a lot more with special special episodes and documentaries, and then of course with social media. So we really look forward to this show because we want to talk to our brothers and sisters at arms. We want to talk to anyone and everyone who is sitting there who may feel that they're in crisis, and it could be a whole slew of reasons why you're in crisis. And please don't think you're going through it alone, because you're not. There's someone else in your family, in your circle, that is also going through things. And all it takes is one call, one ask, one, hey, how you doing? What's going on? And I make a point every month. I check in, and I can generally tell if someone needs a little reaching out to. So, and I'm not one to not take a helping hand, especially with everything going on in the world, in my personal life and everything. So I really appreciate Jay Tilley just checking in on me. All my other buddies really means a lot. So there's so many different resources out there for veterans, and we've got 988. If you're a veteran, you can go to va.org and just tap that red banner across the top. You'll be immediately connected. And if you're in crisis and you're not a veteran, definitely reach out to you can still dial 988. Your church, family members, and some of your fellow people in your circle. They want to see you happy, healthy, doing well. And so what we like to do is generally we'll bring someone on, and we've got the Tickler. We've had our guys, the future Ring of Honor tag team champions, the Infantry, Carly and Captain Dean, came on, which was phenomenal. Appreciate you guys again, friends of the show. And we have a lot of other guests that we're getting lined up, and look forward to bringing them on and having them talk about what they go through and how you get from point A to point B. A lot of times it's not alone, and it's okay to say you're not okay, and you're not weak, you're not any other thing other than human. And you hear when you're raising a child or children, and you hear that term, it takes a village. And that is absolutely correct. It takes a village, and we're somebody's kid. We're just we're big kids, and we go through stuff, and sometimes we can handle it, sometimes we can't. Sometimes we can handle it with a little support. We've got some organizations out there in the Jacksonville area. You've got the 5 Star, who do a lot of really good things down in downtown Jacksonville, and they're there to help. And veterans who are in crisis, who are homeless, who are going through some other stuff, whether it's with addiction or whatever, and they're there to help. There's also vehicles for veterans. You can donate a vehicle, and they're I'm sure there's some kind of a tax deduction if that's something that you're interested in. But more importantly, looking out for our fellow brothers and sisters who are really going through it. So over 19.6 million require some kind of help. and that this is just one of the means, that we're able to help through that way. You've got the Homes for Heroes as well, and depending on what area you're in, you're going to have different different resources available to you. So I definitely take a look, see what's out there, see what makes sense for you. And the why I got into wrestling, why I was so super interested in it, is that suspended belief, understanding that there's a script, understanding that there's a predetermined finish potentially, and there's times where on the fly you're going to see a match change. You saw Monet and Willow for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. Monet breaks her ankle. They make the call in the ring because she was going to be out for a while. She knew she was jacked up, and Willow walks out, your inaugural New Japan Women's Champion and New Japan Strong Women's Champion. Beautiful title, light purple, super cool. And to see that occur, you're like, oh man, not only was she hurt, they got through it and got to a finish that everybody could accept. Now you have some finishes that are really hard to accept, like The Undertaker taking an L to Brock Lesnar. Didn't think that it was the right time for that streak to end, and probably the wrong person, to get the victory, because Brock didn't need it. He was already over, and you have. And now in hindsight, everybody was saying that it should have been Bray. Even Undertaker said it should have been Bray Wyatt. So rest in peace to Mr. Wyndham there. So, yeah, so, here we are. It's the 22nd of the month. Every 22nd, we like to reach out and, let everyone know that it's okay to not be okay. I am not a licensed therapist. And I commend everyone who is in that field. My wife is in that field, and you are saints in my book, and it is extremely important that that resource is available. And I take full advantage and appreciate my counselor and all the support that I get whenever I need it. So it's invaluable, if to use a word that fits. So over the years, the stigma has changed, and before you came off as weak, or you were this or you were that, but now it's more out in the open, and people talk about their feelings and talk about what they're going through, and little by little it's a little more accepted, which I think is phenomenal. You listen to some NBA players, NFL players, you hear them talking about it, the stress that some of the Olympic athletes go through, and Simone Biles, arguably the greatest gymnast, talked about some of the things that she went through before, during, and after. Even during the Olympics, she had to take a pause. We saw in wrestling, there was Roxanne Perez. She was the NXT Women's Champion at the time, and now she's the Women's Champion again, and relinquished the title, and to be able to take a short hiatus. So it could be pressure from the job, whether you have a job or not. It could be pressure from the responsibilities in your job, whether you have responsibilities or not. Sometimes you think, I should have more responsibility, or I should be the man or the woman, and that could get extremely tiring while you're sitting there watching someone else pull the strings and make the decisions, whether you agree with them or not. It's something you generally have to go through. As a retired Marine, there's definitely a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. While I was on active duty, I used physical fitness to definitely help get me through some of those stressful times. And unfortunately, I would turn to drinking, in excess, and definitely not the way that I go about it now. Thankfully, I'm able to negotiate to myself, hey, these are things that I've got to work through. And whenever I need to reach out, Jay Tilley's there. Whenever Jay Tilley needs to reach out, he knows I'm there. And, some of my other, buddies are there. And sometimes I just got to take a break and get away, put the phone down. This 24-hour media cycle, it's constantly in your face, it's constantly in your ear, constant reminder that the world is going at such a clip and it's hard to keep up with things. So for today, thanks to Lazy Lou, she hooked us up to be able to go out and rent a boat. Thank you to Lazy Lou's Pontoons. They're out of Orange Park, Florida. Just an absolute amazing time out on the St. Johns River. And thank you for, I came in late to drop the boat off. You are fantastic, and I really, really appreciate it. And I hope, anyone who needs to get out, wants to, hit the boat up, I definitely encourage you to hit her up and take the boat out. So that was one of the ways that I was able to get away from some of the stress, surrounded by the people you love, the people that you want to spend time with. And I could see going out there with one other person, because you probably don't want to go boating alone, just in case, and just sitting out on the boat. There were some ospreys flying around, fish jumping out. You saw families splashing around, super cool. And whatever that thing is that allows you to sort of get away. And that again brings me back around to wrestling. It gave me an opportunity to watch wrestling and sort of get away from your problems. Oh, you're ignoring them, you're this, you're that. No. I'm not ignoring them. I just need to recharge, because I probably need to approach this situation a little bit different, because you can't always hit everything head on. Sometimes you got to hit it from the side. Sometimes, you just leave it, come back, and when you're ready to, to address it. And definitely a nice break. Really, again, I totally appreciate, how other people are able to, sort of get a break. And if you have a resource that you find cathartic. Some people like to go over to the Humane Society. They take dogs for a walk, or go fishing. Very, very peaceful. You're just dropping a lure, dropping some bait, and you just wait. Or you're trolling, or whatever it is. Some people will go about it a negative way, and because they're down in a hole, they want to bring other people down with them. If that's your jam, I don't necessarily agree with it, but just keep in mind there's a cause and effect, and there's going to be equal reaction to some of the negative things that you do. So please keep that in mind whenever you're getting ready to make a huge decision on something that may just be a temporary thing. And like I like to say, a little blip on the radar. Boop, we're done. We continue to move on. This was a little hiccup. Maybe sometimes it sucks. It may cost some money. It may cost a few days out of work, or something else. But sometimes it's a necessary evil where you just gotta take a pause for the cause. So. But, when we're sitting here, we're talking about resources, we're talking about things that we can do. We've got counselors, we've got our churches, we've got the, being physical, going out, doing something exercise related. I enjoy a little ink therapy, going to get a tattoo. And again, I don't endorse any specific thing. And, if you want to go get a tattoo, just remember, it is permanent. You will always have it. And I've gotten tattoos in the past where I was like, oh man, why did I do that? And I've had a couple covered up, and there's a couple that I just live with, and I'm like, well, it's it'll be a good story down the road, and hopefully a learning a learning lesson for others to be able learn from, so they don't have to go down the same road. So, when you get in a tough spot, and not everything works for everyone. You sometimes, hey, I'm going to be upstairs or downstairs, or I'll be in the other room, whatever it is, and you hop on, you play some video games, or you sit down and write. A lot of artists that write songs or sing, some of the best songs come out of heartbreak, or come out of something that's top shelf. Maybe you fell in love, you got your heart broken, you had a baby born, you had like my youngest son, when he graduated high school, I was like, holy jeez, this is, and that's something huge that you could absolutely sit down and talk about where they started, where their life turned around, and now here they are graduating high school, and he's a damn sophomore in college, and you're like, holy cow, you'll hear different versions of a song or a remix or whatever. That's another way to go about a little bit of get right, if you will. And there's nothing wrong with it, as long as it's it's for you, it doesn't affect anyone else, and you're just doing you. And I totally commend people, again, if you can, you feel like you can do it on your own, or you're going to just handle things a little bit quieter. You don't have to make this whole big scene. You're not always the victim, but there are times when you need to reach out for help. And it takes a big man or woman to say, I am not okay, and I can't necessarily do this on my own. And it's, the first time I had to do it, it was extremely humbling, but it was exactly what I needed. And it was a year ago, the first week in February, and I didn't know where else to turn. I didn't know what else to do, and it was at the right time. I just grabbed my phone, I made an appointment, and it was exactly what I needed when I needed it. And I'm here today to tell you that tough times will not necessarily define you, but it's something that's going to forever be in your story. And again, we come back around to wrestling. You talk about Dusty Rhodes and his hard times, everything that he went through when he was going against the Four Horsemen, when he got his leg legit broke, and then came out on the other side as the world champion. There's times where you're just gonna have to grind it out, and some of the things that Tiff and I have recently gone through aren't going to define us, but it's certainly going to be part of our story. And Tiff may or may not want those to be part of the story, but it is. And she is an absolute boss, and I would not want to face her in the main event at WrestleMania, because her I think her move would be some kind of snap or tap, and I would tap quick, you know what I mean? But yeah, so there's that. Some other resources that are out there. One is called makeyconnection.net, and it's both mental and emotional, as well as substance abuse recovery. And I think once you're in recovery, you remain in recovery. And my sister goes through it every day, and she has gone through hell and back and out the other side. And again, this was not something that defined her. It was something that built just shook her foundation, and she had to build herself back up. And totally commend and super, super proud of that woman and her husband Bob for getting her back all these years. You're a good dude, man. I really appreciate it. So there's there's a lot going on there, but it's definitely it's something that is there. Now, when we talk about other resources, it's also when, say, you reach out and you are looking for a counselor. And me personally, I knew the absolute minute that I heard and talked with my counselor, I knew that I made the absolute connection that I needed. And you know, you may sit down with your counselor or doctor or clergyman, deacon, whoever it is that you decide you're going to talk to. And if you don't feel that connection, do not feel bad about saying, hey, I got to keep looking. A lot of times when you go and you're trying to decide what church you want to attend, well, I'm this denomination, I have to go to this specific church. Absolutely not. And I think most members of the church would be like, come on in, see if it's a good fit for you. And if it isn't, thank you for at least trying and checking us out, because it's super important that where you go to worship, to, just kind of let it out and pray and get yourself back to neutral. If you're not comfortable, it's going to be extremely difficult. And, just like reaching out to us, if you're sitting there listening to us and we're not for you, I totally appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by, checking us out. But if we are, what you want and what you want to talk about and how, just imagine you're sitting around work talking with us. Yeah, Jay Tilley's, spot on, or Ellie J are spot on, or vice versa. That's how it is. So again, thank you so much for checking us out here at the No Shave Man Cave. I love what we get to do, talk about professional wrestling, and this is a fact of life, that the unfortunate circumstance that 22 veterans a day take their lives. And I totally hope and wish everyone nothing but the best, and keep doing what you do. If you're not going to get help from somewhere, hit us up. Hit us up on Instagram, No Shave Man Cave. If you just need someone to chat back and forth with, hey, that's what we're here for. Find someone that's going to get your back, just like a tag team partner would in professional wrestling, or a trios team, kind of like what Jay Tilley and I have, along with the El Edador, and we've got our four-way team as well, with a future women's world champion as well. So super cool. So again, on behalf of Jay Tilley, I'm Ellie Jair. To all of our brothers and sisters in arms, thank you so much for what you do. Keep doing it. Hurry up, get your ass home, because you're needed. And please, if you don't get help from here, get help somewhere. And you're loved, and we look forward to seeing you somewhere down the road within professional wrestling. So again, on behalf of Jay Tilley, I'm Ellie Jair. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you on the floor.